situates our discussion tonight. But first, let me introduce you to our guests. I would like to welcome to this program Comrade Jude Imagwe, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Youth and Students Matters. Thanks for joining us here.
Thank you. Good evening.
We'd also like to welcome to this program, I believe for the very first time, Onyeka Win, Director General, National Center for Women's Development.
Indeed. Thank you for having me.
It's good to join us. Let me also welcome tonight Alhaji Kamaldeen Akintude, who's President, National Council of Muslim Youth Organizations, NACOMYO. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you.
We also like to welcome Pastor Simon Dolly, National President, Youth Wing Christian Association of Nigeria.
You're welcome.
Thanks for being here. Let me also introduce you to Eeefy Ike. She's a motivational speaker, author, and model. Thanks for being here.
Hello.
And also here tonight is Marvin Yobana of the World Youth Assembly. It's good to join us.
Thank you very much.
Right. Let me just quickly say this, that at the appropriate time, the phone lines will be open, and that means you can get to join in the discussion in the studio. The numbers will be on your screen. You can call in with your questions or comments, and our guests tonight will be willing to take on such issues as you might raise. Let's also quickly advise that once you do get through, turn down the volume of your TV set. That way we'll avoid the pearlback or the echo. So once again, welcome to NTA Tuesday Live. Let's begin, and let's start talking about this National Youth Peace Concert and its position in promoting peace, especially among the youths. Jude.
Yeah, the idea and the brain behind it is discussing about the prevailing circumstances Nigeria had found herself today, and where we were yesterday, and where we hope to get to tomorrow. Now, we can no longer pretend that the unity and the peaceful coexistence of Nigerians is being threatened by several things that were alien to us yesterday. And those that predominantly are the receiving ends are young people. Young people are either accused to be carriers or perpetrators of such acts, or young people are usually victims when such acts are carried out. Then those that equally receive the pains most are our mothers. A mother sees the child going to school, telling the child that go to school and come back, I will prepare your meal for you, and only to get back and receive news that the child had been murdered, slaughtered, reduced in a form that has never been part of ours before. And so that was the need why the office of the African First Lady Peace Mission, led by the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and our office representing the youth, from that end, the office of the mothers, and from our office, the office of the youth.
Let's go to the Director General of the National Center for Women's Development. Now, it's like forever you have been involved in promoting peace, love, and you're better known for having done that in the early days. Do you worry that today Nigeria has turned into what it is?
Very much so. Worried, sad, but not feeling like there's nothing I can do about it, because that's the worst thing that we can do, is to feel so overwhelmed by the issue that you just sit back and begin to get used to it. I don't think we should ever do that. For young people, I'd like to say stop complaining and get into a place where you can change your environment, and you can begin with your immediate environment. You can begin with your sphere of influence, and everyone has it. What can young people do today? Stop complaining and get in there and change this country. You have the power.
Alhaji Kamaldeen Akintude, you're president of NACOMYO, and right, this is a religious organization, and they say that we're a religious people. Yet, there are those who would say being religious is not it, that there's a lot of godlessness around the place. And so how come we are considered religious people and we are degenerating this badly?
Well, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa sallim. You have said it all. And the most important thing we should note here is our religion has a role to play in the growth and development of this country.
Okay. Well, let's get to hear your views on this, Pastor Simon.
Really, this program that our mommy, the First Lady, is organizing, I think is very timely because of the challenges we are really facing in this country today. And as we all know, there's no alternative for peace. And our Bible teaches us that we should walk by all means to live in peace with all men. By all means, not just say try by all means, try by all means and make peace with all men. But the problem really we are facing these days is very, very challenging. And times I look at it in a different way because there are people behind some of these challenges.
Let's go over to Eeefy and see you, the motivational speaker. You think the youths have lost all focus, or is it that there are no role models anymore?
Well, unfortunately so. Where there are no role models, it's difficult for people to lead a respectable life, especially when they have to emulate the steps of those ahead of them. But also, the environment makes it very difficult. It makes it very difficult because the education system, for instance, I have to talk about the education. It's flawed. I talk to graduates here, they can't even defend their degree. They can't even have a simple conversation with you because they don't spend time in schools. They have to run around looking for money to pay their fees. The medical system, flawed. Transportation, electricity, all kinds of things flawed. So of course the youths have no hope. But this is what I say. There is no hope, but you have to imagine the hope. And through your imagination, lead a life of purpose, because we have to lead a life of purpose. God has a will for each and every one of us. And it's impossible for us to live a meaningful life unless we lead a life of purpose. I know that the environment is harsh, but we have to change the environment. No one will do it for us but us. Even the older generation can't really do it for us. They can help, give us a platform, but they can't really do it for us. We have to promote this peace. We, the youths, are being exploited for all kinds of evil because we're vulnerable, because a lot of us are not well developed. Again, the environment cannot even allow you, to understand what you have to do with yourself. Because if the environment is difficult, then sometimes people are confused. What do I do? What do I need to do? Even when I graduate, there is no employment. There are other things that you can do. God instilled greatness in each and every one of us, that we must look within to kindle with that greatness and develop it to the appreciation of people. And so I say to the youth, even when there is no employment, you can tap into your skills. There are other skills, find them, develop them. I did it. I lead by example. I did it. For instance, I came to Nigeria. I discovered our stones because I'm doing a research for my youth movement. I discovered that one of the resources Nigeria has are precious stones like these. I started creating jewelries. I thought, wow, this is beautiful, and they have medicinal properties. So I can create this. I created employment. There was no investor, there was no help. It was just my own passion and creative skills. So we can all do it. We can, but that doesn't mean that government shouldn't work hard to provide an enabling environment for the youths. Government needs to give platform to these youths to develop even their skills. Because sometimes you have a skill that you need support to develop.
Mothers are also responsible for the ills in our nation. Because mothers are the ones that raise the children, that they put out in society. They're the ones that raise the leaders that you don't have problems with in the first place. So mothers need to understand their role. I think the initiatives of the First Lady kind of set a pace for other mothers to learn that it is their responsibility. They hold that position of authority to take care of their children. When you take care of your children, we'll have responsible citizens. If you do not take care of your children, then we're going to have all this, problems with militancy, problems with Boko Haram. These are also because mothers have failed in their duties. I know that there are many problems that Nigerian women have. Some are, some aspect of our culture that actually represses them, and, not being educated as well is part of the problem, and not understanding their role as women. We need to understand and appreciate womanhood.
Can I add something very quickly? every citizen's focus can decide on their own.
But even the leaders were citizens. Today's citizen is tomorrow's leader. So you're looking to government to do everything. Tomorrow you can become government. We all have to work. We have to contribute. We have to be responsible. And we have to be patriotic citizens. I have to talk about this because I'm here to promote patriotism. Great nations are constructed through patriotism. You cannot take care of what you don't like. Nigeria, we need to learn to fall in love with Nigeria. We need to learn to take care of our home. We're eager to cast aspersions on the leaders, on the nation, condemn. We're free to do that. But we forget that it's ourselves that we are condemning. We are Nigeria. I don't care who you are, where you're from, what your religion is, you are a Nigerian. Nigeria comes first, before anyone, before anything. And we must learn to promote Nigeria. Nigeria has the capacity to be one of the greatest nations in the world.
All right. We're into the motivational phase now, trying to drive, to build that fire in the youth.
Well, the youth can't even do anything without the peace. I say, how can you flourish in your life when you're in a toxic environment? It's impossible for society to flourish when there is chaos. It's impossible for even the president to implement his great vision for the nation when there is chaos. So the peace cannot be overemphasized. We need the peace. We don't need to discuss it. We need a peaceful environment to conceive great goals. We need a peaceful environment to create things. We need a peaceful environment to build the industries. We need the peace. It is a necessity. It's not a discussion. The youth peace concert that the First Lady is initiating is just one of the many programs that she is initiating or has initiated and done in the past to promote peace. And she is doing that as a woman. She's exercising her authority. I think a woman is in the place of authority. She holds that position of authority. It is her responsibility to take care of the children and men. And the First Lady is upholding that role, that position, exercising that authority, promoting peace, because she has to take care of the nation as a mother, even before First Lady, as a mother. And so she is doing all of these programs consistently. For instance, he talked about technology, the advancement in technology. We know that it has many destructive elements. And the First Lady has initiated an online child protection program called INTL. And this program is meant to provide security for our children online. Because we know all of the things that happen online. So cyberspace, I'm on there doing my motivational work as usual. But there are many children that go on there, many youths, they meet men, and then they're raped, and there is kidnapping, and then there's AIDS, all kinds of problems, prostitution, all this happened on cyberspace. 10 years ago, we didn't have the internet. Am I right? Now we have the internet. We're all engaged online. The children spend more time online than they spend in school or reading their books. So the First Lady understands this, and she understands that problem. Hence this program and many other programs that are in the works.
Okay. Thanks for being here. The Director General of the National Center for Women's Development hardly needs any introduction. Thank you very much, and we appreciate your coming. And of course, as many of our viewers will know, this is also our home. Yeah. So it's good to be home. Thank you. Thank you for coming. And let me say thank you to Alhaji Kamaldeen Akintunde, President Nakobio, that's the National Council of Muslim Youth. Thank you for coming.
Assalamu alaikum. Please be unto you viewers.
Right. Let me say thank you also to Pastor Simon Belly, National President, Youth Wing Christian Association of Nigeria. I'm sure we put in the national before, so we don't think we're receiving it.
Let's give this a chance.
Okay. And for Eeefy, it's good to always have you around. And thank you for coming. Eeefy is a motivational speaker, author, and model. And we like to say...
And my last message to Nigerian youth.
Okay.
Nigeria beckons your creativity.
Okay.
Nigeria beckons your energy. Nigeria beckons your soul. Nigeria beckons your patriotism. So let us overlook our cultural and religious differences and join forces symbolically to appreciate our unique geographical entity.
Thank you.
Nigeria loves you.
Okay, right.
That's the wonderful.
Honorable Ghana of the World Youth Assembly, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Right, you also have the last word.
I want to use this opportunity to welcome all Nigerians to the program on Saturday. It will be hosted at the Eagle Square, and it will start from 10 a.m. Please be there and let us have fun together.
All right, thank you very much.
May I give a last?
Okay, last one. You get that privilege of
One of the most beautiful things about this country is our diversity. Certainly, it would be boring if we all spoke the same language, wore the same dress, ate the same food. That's the beautiful thing about Nigeria. Let's embrace it, and let's be grateful to God for it. We love you.
Right, and it is on that note that saying thank you to all our viewers and all those who called in. We appreciate your being part of this program, and we ask you, encourage you to stay with us again. Next week we'll reach you with another edition of NTA Tuesday Live. I'm still sober. Bye for now.